Hey friends, it's Liz Patton here. If someone could just give me a quick comment in the chat box to let me know that you can see and hear me okay before we get going tonight. Somebody give me a comment. Let me know you can hear me. Yay, thank you, Jennifer. Woo! Okay, quite a relief. Okay, gang, my name is Liz Patton, and I am super honored that Emily has asked me to speak with your team tonight. I know that I'm not telling you anything about Emily that you don't already know for yourself, but I adore her. She is the real deal, and the few times that I've had the opportunity, the blessing to spend some time with her, I want you to know that she thinks that you guys are the real deal. She is so invested in her team of coaches, and your success is honestly as important to her as her own success for her business. She wants it for you as much as she wants it for herself. And so I hope that you realize the blessing that you have in her as your upline. She is an amazing friend to me, and I've learned so much from her. And so I trust that you guys have too. So again, I'm really honored to be on your call tonight. I value your time, as I know that you all are busy moms and busy women, and maybe you have guys on your team. I don't know. We don't have many on my team, but I just want to give you hopefully some nuggets that you can take away. I hope that you can take some notes and that you leave here this evening with some good takeaways. So the topic I've chosen for tonight are the 5 habits to make and break to create success in your business. And I'm going to start with the 5 habits that we want to break first, because I think it's fun to end on a positive note. So I'm going to go over these 5 habits, and I hope you don't mind that I look down at my notes in between talking with you. So the first habit that we want to break is negative self-talk. And you know as well as I do that your body is going to achieve what your mind believes. So whether you think that you can or whether you think that you can't, you're right. And so I want to encourage you to really think about the way that you're speaking to yourself. And we tell this to our challengers, we tell this to our children, but so often we don't take our own advice. I've read that we become like the 5 people that we spend the most time with. And so I want to ask you to seriously consider the people that you are surrounding yourself with. Do you have a success partner? If you don't, I want to encourage you to find someone that you can be accountable to on a weekly basis, that you can send your goals to every week, whether you text each other or have a Zoom or just call each other once a week. I know that for me, that's been really helpful to have somebody that I can bounce ideas off of, and someone that I just really have to be accountable to. And so if you have a Coach Basics or a Push to Emerald or a Push to Diamond that's offered in your team, again, surround yourself, because those are like-minded people. So you might not necessarily in the beginning have the support of your family and friends, because maybe they don't really understand this coaching thing that you're doing. Or maybe you are like the fitness freak among your family and friends because they're just not into that. But your team totally is. So just jump in with both feet. Anything that's offered to you, whether it's a push or a Coach Basics, just plug in and be surrounded by like-minded people, because that's going to lift you up. One thing that I've done to help me in this area is personal development and podcasting. So for me personally, like, I have found getting ready in the morning, I used to dread, this is maybe more than you want to know, but like makeup, getting ready in the morning just was drudgery to me. It seemed like such a waste of time. But now I listen to podcasts while I'm getting ready. If I'm folding laundry or making dinner or meal prepping on the weekends or cleaning, I'm listening to personal development. And Celine Johnson has some amazing podcasts right now. Her Build the Tribe, she has come back out with that again. And a lot of what she is covering there relates to what we do as coaches. And so, plug into podcasting, and the more positive stuff you put in, the less negative self-talk can happen. Okay, habit number 2 to break, making excuses. We need to realize that there are lies that we tell ourselves to make us feel better in this business. Well, I have kids at home and that coach doesn't. Or I work a full-time job and so this is harder for me. Or I'm new to Facebook and so I don't have any Facebook friends yet and so it's harder for me to get started. Whatever lie you might be telling yourself, and this is hard for us to admit sometimes, but whatever it is that you're telling yourself to make yourself feel better, you've got to stop, because this is the reality. Your situation isn't unique. There is nothing about your personal situation that another coach hasn't dealt with too. And so we have to make the decision that excuses are just not going to come out of our mouth. Like when we are tempted to make that excuse, we just have to stop it. If you are like me, you have noticed that your challengers in your challenge groups who make excuses are the ones that have the least success. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm sure, well, I hope I'm not the only one that has excuses from challengers, but people who say, oh, it's too hard for me to make my shake in the morning and my family is still asleep and it's cold in the garage and I don't want to have to take my blender out there and it's harder to pack my lunch ahead of time. It's just so much easier to go out because everybody else in my office is going out, and you have people who make excuses and they just don't get the same results as those people who are just like, I am doing this. There is no excuse. Failure is not an option. I'm going for this. They jump in. They are full steam ahead. Those people are the ones that get the results, and that's what we need to do with our business as well. So no excuses. Number 3. This is one that I'm just being honest, is one that in the beginning as a new coach, I really struggled with, and that is comparison. So if you are allowing comparison to steal your joy, you've got to break this habit. Comparison is the thief of joy. And it is so easy on social media to compare your backstage to somebody else's highlight reel. You look and they feel like, you feel like they have it all figured out and you're over here just like not having a clue. So what I want to encourage you to do is put your blinders on. Be very mindful of the amount of time you spend on the newsfeed. If there are certain people that you are trying to relate to and connect with and engage with, then personally message them or go to their personal newsfeed or rather their wall instead of trying to sort through the whole news feed to find them. Go specifically to their wall, because if you get caught up in the news feed, you can truly start looking at what that coach is doing and what that coach is doing, and it ends up making you feel inadequate and you lose your joy for what you're doing. You do you, because nobody else can do it better than you can. Let's face it, we all have the same products. I have the same Shakeology as you have. And I have the same, P25 as that coach has. So what makes somebody choose one coach over another is not our products. It's you being authentically and transparently you. And so don't get caught up in what other coaches are doing. Just put your blinders on and you be you. Okay, number 4. I call this one the 3 Ps. Perfection, poison, paralysis. Allowing our desire for everything to be absolutely perfect to paralyze us. And this is so easy to do as a new coach because you think that you have to have everything perfect before you can go forward. I waited months before I opened a public page because I was afraid that it wasn't going to be perfect. I waited too long to start a newsletter because I was afraid of what it should look like, and it wasn't perfect yet, and I didn't want to send it out unless it was just perfect. And I allowed my fear of that all needing to be perfect to paralyze me. So it's better to have something done halfway than to have nothing done at all. And so if you don't have a public page yet on Facebook because you're waiting for, you know, everything to be just perfect, I just want to encourage you to go for it. Just go for it. Your pictures, like I could spend forever, adding the correct text and the right colors and the right filters, and that could. But I don't have time. Like my kids are up in the morning, and so my morning post, usually has something to do with my workout, and I just have to make it as good as it can be. I used to second guess it, third guess it, fourth guess it. I just don't do it anymore. We pick it apart much more carefully than our audience does. So don't worry about it being perfect. Have good content that provides value to your followers, and just put it out there for them. And don't allow the fear of it not being perfect to paralyze you. And here's a perfect example of why. I, on my public page, met a woman who reached out to me. This was this past summer, and she was 1 week from having gastric bypass surgery. She found me on my public page. That was not perfect because I finally just said, go. Like, it's not perfect, but, I wasn't doing anything with it the way that it was. So we connected. She said, can you help me? I am terrified to have gastric bypass, but I feel like I don't have any other choice. Is there anything that you can do for me? And so I called her on the phone, and we connected. She joined my challenge group. I met her 2 weeks ago at my boys' Little League field playing ball. She was there for her children. I met her for the first time in person. She has lost 80 pounds. She never had gastric bypass surgery. If I had allowed my perfection paralysis to keep me from opening that public Facebook page, I would never have met her. And who knows what would have happened. She would have either had gastric bypass and regretted it, or never had it at all and never lost the weight, or maybe, who knows. But I just want to encourage you to just go, and don't worry about it having to be perfect. Okay, number 5, last one, and this is the fear of failure. And number 4 and number 5 kind of go hand in hand. But I want to ask you to find something every month that you can write down in your journal or your planner or on your phone, wherever you keep your schedule. One thing you're going to try and do every single month that really scares you, because success is outside of our comfort zone. So if it scares you to think about doing a team webinar like this for your team, I want to encourage you to do one. If it scares you to call somebody and do the business opportunity on the phone because you're used to doing it back and forth in a personal message on Facebook, I want to encourage you to do that. Maybe it's terrifying to consider doing a YouTube video, but think of one thing. I make myself write it down in my planner, and I highlight it at the top of every month. One thing every month that I'm going to do that scares me, because that's how we grow. And if you fail, which you should if you're doing things that are big, hairy, scary, audacious goals, you're going to fail forward. Okay, so there's joy in that. There is a blessing in that, and there's growth in that. For me, with Facebook, like I often will put a post that totally bombs. Either I did it at the wrong time, or it wasn't for my target audience, but you learn from that, and then you know how to make it better the next time. So I want you to look back over those 5 habits, and I want you to put a little star next to one of those habits that you recognize is one that you personally are struggling with, and you are going to break it this week. Like, you're totally going to just break it, and good stuff is going to happen when you do, okay? All right, we're moving on now to the 5 habits that we're going to make to create success in our business. Number 1, treat your business like a business and not a hobby. Now, let me say, because I have some great rock star coaches on my team who love their full-time jobs, have no intention of leaving their full-time job, and they enjoy working their Beachbody business as a hobby, but they want to be good at it as a hobby. And so they do. They engage in calls, and that's great. I'm not talking for somebody right now who wants to just do this as a hobby. If you want this as a business, like to replace a full-time income perhaps, then that's who I'm talking to. And I will share from personal experience. I was a previous middle school English teacher for 13 years. And when I got pregnant with my third son, I decided that I wanted to stay home. I have three boys. One of them at the time was in kindergarten, and my other son was home with me, and I was pregnant with my third. So I just was like, I want to savor this time with them. So I decided to leave the classroom while my boys were still little. When my youngest son went to kindergarten, the plan was Liz was going to go back to teaching. I had, stayed home. In the meantime, I was teaching group exercise. I was a certified personal trainer at the Y, but just doing that a little bit. And then I was introduced to this business as an opportunity. And when I realized the potential for the business, I jumped in and went for it, because I knew at that time that my youngest son was going to go back to kindergarten in a year, and I was going to need to go back to the classroom. And I will say I have the most admiration for teachers. I liked it, but I didn't love it. And fitness and helping people be their healthiest versions of themselves is what jazzes me up. It is my passion. It's my sweet spot. It's the thing on Sunday night that got me excited for Monday morning. Doing my lesson plans previously on Sunday night, I just I feel bad saying it, but I just was kind of dreading Monday and leaving my kids and the schedule and not having flexibility with my family. Anyway, I can tell you that this July, it will be 4 years that I've been a coach, and my Beachbody business has far exceeded what I was making as a middle school English teacher, a public school teacher after 13 years. So you can do this. You can treat your business like a business and have it replace a full-time income. So how to do that? Create a distraction-free space where you can work. I used to do it at the dining room table because I thought I could keep my eyes on like everybody, and I'd be a great multitasker. Like, who was I kidding? That doesn't work. So I had to find a space that would allow me to focus. And when I was in this space, I had to have designated, consistent hours that I worked my business, where I was like laser focused. I think Shalene calls it building a fortress around your focus. So I had to, for me, that meant a power hour early in the morning. Again, in the evening when my kids went to bed. In the beginning, it was at nap time, but I couldn't just wing it. I couldn't just say, well, if he takes a nap this afternoon, I will do follow-ups. No, I had to have a sacred designated time to work my business. And so that meant when I was working my business, I wasn't folding laundry. I wasn't on my phone, turning my phone off. So if somebody called during that time, unless it was an emergency, I didn't answer. I would call them back because that was my power hour and my designated time that I needed to focus on my business. If I am listening to personal development, I'm taking notes. So, if I'm listening to the National Wake Up Call and it's something that I know is for my business, I'm not going to be, cleaning while I'm doing that. I need to be laser focused and take notes so that I can apply it to my business. So for me, in the beginning, when I had my power hour in the evening, that meant sacrificing. Like, I have no clue what happened on Grey's Anatomy. I saw on Facebook last week that something major must have happened. I don't know. I used to could not wait for Thursday night to watch Grey's. And I seriously, since becoming a coach, I have no clue what's going on there anymore. And you know what? It's okay, because this is more important to me. Like, my why, and I know we hear that word used so often, but your why has to be big enough that you don't care about The Bachelor anymore. Like, my why is that big. And I just want to encourage you to just, dig deep for that why and keep that, as what helps you build your fortress around your focus. Yes, I just am now seeing Emily says power hour is a game changer. Absolutely. And in the beginning, as a new coach, if you can't find a solid hour, break it up. 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes maybe at your lunch hour and another 30 minutes in the evening. But know what is specifically going to happen in those 30 minutes. Because if you wait until your power hour to go, now who do I need to follow up with today and who should I invite, you're going to waste the whole time. So, for me on the weekend, what I would do is I would decide what was happening in my power hour every day. Who was I going to invite? Who did I need to follow up with? And I kept that organized in my planner so that when I sat down for my power hour, it was go time. And I think that's how you can make the most of your time. Okay, moving on to habit number 2 that we want to make. Be the leader or the coach that you would want to join. What kind of coach would you want to join their challenge group? You be that coach. What kind of upline? Oh, my planner. Look, I've given up my secrets. My laptop is resting on my planner right now. But it's the Erin Condren. At the end of this, I will take it out and I'll show it to you. But it's the Erin Condren Life Planner. But I kind of have this weird system, and I don't want to take up too much time, but it took me 2 years to figure out my system that worked for me. I was always totally impressed, and again, I know you can't compare. I was always impressed with these coaches who used like fancy Excel spreadsheets and Google Docs and like this whole computerized system. I'm a very paper and pencil kind of girl. So I have 2 planners. My Erin Condren Life Planner has my to-do list for like my key performance indicators, my KPIs, what I need to do for the week. But then I have this other planner that I got from Target, and I will show you at the end how I set it up for every day. Because my first column are my new friends that I'm either sending friend requests to or who have sent to me, so I keep track of their names in the first column. The second column are my invitations, and then the third column are my follow-ups. And I do that for every single day. So that is just keeping track of my names. So my Erin Condren Life Planner is to keep track of my goals and my to-do list, my tasks for the day. But then I have another planner for my names. And if that is like weird to anybody, you have to figure out a system that works for you. And seriously, my first 2 years, like I was just a crazy mess because I could not get myself together and organized, and I had like random stuff, and I was trying to use the computer and I wasn't doing a good job of that. So you just have to figure out what works for you. Okay, so habit number 2, being the leader and the coach that you want to join. Do the tasks that others aren't willing to do and do them consistently. I will sometimes have like coaches that I really don't know that aren't even on my team personally, but they'll say, message me, what can you tell me, like, so that I can get Success Club every month? And I feel like I should have some sexy, fabulous answer, and I really don't. It's consistency, like just showing up every day. I don't think you have to be rock star. I don't have any secrets or anything fancy, but just showing up every day, just being consistent. And that's every day. Like I don't do it on Sunday, but my business, the other 6 days, I'm plugging. I'm showing up every day. Make sacrifices that others aren't willing to make, like giving up, reality TV or reading People magazine. I don't know what your sacrifice might be, but if your business is that important to you, you're willing to make those sacrifices. If you don't have what you need, create it for your team. This is what is going to establish you as a leader. For example, I wanted to do a sugar strike, a 5-day sugar strike when we started doing free challenges. And I had a clean eating 5-day, but I didn't have a sugar strike. And I was like, God, this would be really awesome. So I created it, and then I shared it with my team. If there is, like when the 21-day fix extreme came out, like create something and be willing to share it. If you don't have something that you need, don't wait for somebody to put it in your hands. You go out and create it. Make it, for yourself. That's going to set you apart as a leader. Okay, number 3, a habit to make, have courageous confidence. And this comes, I think, from being consistent. The more consistent you are, the more confident you become, because with practice, repetition, it helps you build this confidence. But I want you to, and this is something that I have had to work at, okay, so I want you to listen really carefully to what I'm going to ask you to do. I want you to emotionally detach yourself from other people's judgment of you. And I want you to emotionally attach yourself to your mission, to your why, to why you're doing this. So you're going to detach yourself from what other people think about you, other people's judgment of you, and instead you're going to attach yourself to your mission and to your why. And I want you to, I know a lot of us do free 5-day challenges, and I think it's wonderful to help people and to give valuable content away for free for 5 days. But then I want you to stop giving yourself away for free, because I know a lot of coaches on my team will say, well, they loved my 5-day challenge and they wanted to join my 30-day, but they didn't realize that there was a challenge pack involved. Yeah, and don't let them in that group for free, because that takes away the value of you and your family and our products. It totally devalues our products if we let people join our challenge groups for 30 days and not have any investment. I often will say to people, we don't go to have our hair done or our eyebrows waxed and expect them to do it for free. Like, that's crazy. So yes, we're giving away valuable content on our Facebook pages. You might have a weekly email or a weekly newsletter, a great YouTube channel. So you're giving stuff away for free. So when it comes time to someone investing in a challenge, then there is an investment there. They will invest in the products that you stand behind, and they get you as a coach for free, but there has to be some kind of investment and ownership on their part. And so value your time, value the time that it takes away from your family when you are working with your challengers, and realize that there should be compensation for that. And don't feel guilty about it. If they can't afford a challenge pack, remind them of the things that you give for free, and they can follow you there on your public Facebook page, on your free weekly newsletter, or your YouTube channel, or Instagram. Okay, number 4, control the controllable. We cannot control how many Success Club points we get this month, can we? We can't control how many people join our challenge group. However, we can control how many people we invite to our challenge group every day. We can control whether we are consistently putting out good quality content on social media. We can control how many people we present the business to every week. So I can get really wrapped up in the stuff I can't control. And you know what? That causes worry and stress, and that sucks the joy right out of what we do as coaches. So control what you can control. Control the controllable. And just focus on that. I read that it takes 80% of people who join our challenge groups 5 to 7 points of contact before they actually join. So there is importance to us following up. 5 to 7 points of contact. So that might be, one point of contact might be they see a Facebook promotion for your next challenge group. Another one might be they see somebody else say that they got great results from your challenge. A third one might be that you invite them to your challenge. But like 5 to 7 points of contact before 80% of people will join a challenge. So following up is super duper important. One of the things that I learned from Instagram Impact is the 311 on Instagram. I will admit that Instagram is often something that I have to seriously plan for, because it's not my natural thing. Like, I'm more comfortable with Facebook, but I recognize the importance of Instagram. So using this 311 method, I think will help you if you're kind of like me and Instagram is not like your natural thing. So for 5 people every day, you're going to do 311. You're going to do 3 double taps, okay, on 3 of their posts, 1 compliment or comment, and then 1 question. So 3 double taps, 1 comment or compliment, and then 1 question. And do that with 5 people every day, and I think you'll start to see that your relationships will grow, and so will your followers. All right, we're doing pretty good on time because I'm on number 5. Here's your last habit to make, and this is getting back to the basics. We hear it, it's one of our vital behaviors, but being a product of the product. And so often when our business gets really busy, we put ourselves on the back burner. And we can't do that with our business because being a product of the product is one of the most important things we can do for our business. So certainly, yes, our power hour is important in the morning, but so is your workout if that's your only chance. And I've had coaches say, like, I just worked right through. I was doing my power hour and I just didn't have time to exercise, and now a whole week has gone by and I haven't worked out. And they're wondering like why no one is wanting to join their challenges. Like, you've got to be putting yourself out there that you're using our products, because no one's going to want to use them if you're not. So share your struggle. If you're struggling with finding the time to do it, share that with your followers because they can relate to that. Absolutely. Again, back to the basics, having your disciplines power hours. We already talked about that. And designate that in your planner when those hours are going to be. For me personally, I always encourage my new coaches to do one free challenge every month, followed 2 weeks later by a monthly challenge group, and go ahead and always be having something that you can invite people to. Because I have found that as long as you have something you can be inviting people to, there's a reason to be reaching out to them and engaging with them. Because it's fun to always have something to be able to invite people to, especially those 5-day free challenges, because then you don't have to feel like pressure if they say no, because there's nothing to lose. They don't have to make an investment in those. And give them a fabulous 5 days, and they're totally going to want to join you for your 30-day. Emailing my customers every week. This is something that's very basic, but I think has been crucial to just building relationships with people, because not everybody is on Facebook. I know, right? Crazy. But I have a lot of people who subscribe to my weekly newsletter, and that's their only way of staying in contact with me, because they're not on Facebook. This doesn't have to be some fancy formal newsletter. It might just be an email once a week with your favorite motivating quote or a favorite recipe that you found on Pinterest. So don't let perfection paralysis keep you from putting something out there on a weekly basis. Send this to all of your leads that you get from your online office, all of your customers. You can start collecting email addresses from people on social media who want to get weekly fitness tips from you or recipes. And then anytime a new product comes out, it doesn't have to feel salesy because you're giving them a recipe. And oh, by the way, I'm having a challenge group that starts in 2 weeks, and would love to have you join us. That kind of thing. This is an option that you might want to consider. I did this last month for the first time. I read the book The Go Giver instead of The Go Getter. I cannot give you the author of that book off the top of my head, but I'm sure you can find it. But anyway, it encouraged me to want to give away something to my newsletter readers who were faithfully reading my newsletter. And so I offered a free individual packet of Shakeology to my newsletter readers, but they had to email me, and we did this, I asked for future newsletter topics from them, and it gave me an opportunity to find out what their goals were. Obviously, we had to go back and forth to find out what flavor they wanted, but I seriously heard from people that I had never heard from. And it was a great opportunity for me to let them try my product, because a lot of them have been seeing that I use it, but they didn't know what it was all about. And so, I would just put disclaimers on that. They can't be a coach already or working with another coach. You don't want to just give away your stuff to somebody who's not serious about a relationship with you, but that is something that you might want to consider. And in the subject line of that email, I put complimentary Shakeology. If you use the word free, it gets picked up by spam. But I had more people open and read that newsletter than any newsletter I have sent in the last 3 years, because it had complimentary Shakeology. So you might want to try that. Plugging into weekly calls is getting back to the basics. Something that you might want to try doing too is something I encourage my coaches to do, and it's a messaging blitz. So for 30 to 60 minutes once a week, go through all of your Facebook messages from a long time ago and just message for 30 minutes. Just re-engage, reconnect, hey, it's, been a long time since we've touched bases. I just saw that your son turned 5. Oh my goodness. Like nothing about the business, nothing about our products, but just going back and forth because we all know that there are people, the ball gets dropped, they express an interest at one time, but the timing wasn't right. We all know that no doesn't mean no, it just means not right now. And so just kind of set aside one 30-minute chunk a week to do your messaging blitz. And I think that you'll start to see some growth from that. So those are my 5 habits to make, and I hope that maybe one of those stands out as something that maybe will be new, a nugget that you can take away. If you guys have questions, oh, Brandy looked it up, The Go-Giver by Bob Berg and John David Mann. Thank you. Have you read it, Brandy? It's a really very like simple, fast kind of read, good personal development for me. But if you guys want to ask any questions, I am happy to answer them. And I'm going to try and balance this thing and get my planners out of here so I can show you my system. I hope that y'all won't laugh at me when I show you my system, okay? All right. Oh gosh, this is like so like just being out there. Okay, here is like, I don't know if you can see this. This is my Erin Condren. So like these are my weekly goals over here, and like my push calls with my coaches, I have the times of them, and like, okay, these are my like daily to-dos. Now my, like here was today. This is helpful to you or not, but okay, so my first column are new likes, and I'm going to be honest, I am like not always so good about writing down those people. Here are the people that I invited today, and then here were my follow-ups in this column. And so if I invited somebody over here, tomorrow their name is going to go over here to a follow-up. And that's just how it works. And here's like IG, like if I met them on Instagram today, I like put that, like I met them today, so tomorrow I need to reach out to them. Like they'll be my 311 people tomorrow. That just works for me. So, and the life planner, you can get them to start any month. It doesn't have to be January. Okay, Brady said, I'm super new at this, like 3 days new. Girlfriend, you rock that you are on a webinar and you've only been a coach for 3 days. Give it up for Brandy. I joined from a month-long challenge group. What is an example of the shorter free challenge group that you were talking about? Okay, so there's lots of different ways that you can do free challenges. So I encourage my coaches to pick something that is like so intrinsic to them. It's just, it comes very easily. So like they might be plank queens, like they're so good at planks and they love to plank. So they could do a 5-day plank challenge, or it might be a water challenge. It might be a push-up challenge. My 2 favorites are a free 5-day clean eating challenge. And then I also love doing a free 5-day sugar strike where we strike sugar. I've heard of coaches doing like giving up junk food for 5 days. A crock pot challenge where they have a new recipe that they make in their crock pots for every night of the week. So something that you just really enjoy. It could just be an exercise challenge, where for 30 minutes every day they're going to work out. And then just like you did in your 30-day challenge, you're going to create a private Facebook group for those people. I think it's important to have them set up a free club membership in our Team Beachbody website so that that connects them to you. In case in the future they ever decide to purchase something, they'll automatically be connected to you. You can have that be a requirement for them to join your challenge. You don't have to, but yeah, so that's what your 5-day free challenges can be. And they can be more than 5 days. I just think 5 days is good because it's free and it's your time. That's your valuable time that you're giving them. And usually it's amazing what happens to people in 5 days. And they get jazzed up and they trust you, and then they want to join a 30-day challenge after that. Any other questions? I know we went over a little bit. So I really appreciate your time, and I'm, again, so honored to be on your team. You guys are just a group of women that I really admire and am grateful that I can share in this with. So thanks for your time. All right, good night.